So in this activity, we will convert and take parts of our Flash animation and prepare them for the After Effects. So no matter how you organize so far your animation, the end product should be a graphic symbol that will be exported separately and create a shockwave file. So we'll create a set of shockwave files. So I'm going to create just something very basic. One of your shockwave files will be your background, just animated as it is and exported. And then you will have several animations. So I'm going to just create something very basic. So let's say I have a square, and that square goes somewhere like this. Insert keyframe. Let's say it goes like this. And I'm going to have this way, since I have a shape tool, but just a shape tool. Right? Now notice this is a main timeline. So if you didn't have your symbols nested, you can still do it. And the easiest way would be just select, holding a shift, everything, right click, and you can do copy frames. And then you can do insert new symbol and let's make it a graphic symbol. And I will call this square animated and something like this, and I'll come and I'm going to paste my frames. So now I have it here, and if I check in my library, it's here. So if in the case if you still don't have nested symbol, you can have it, you can simply select the part. Also, if you have maybe a little bit complex animation, so you have a part that you have nested symbol, but you also have parts that are on main timeline animated, again, you can simply select all of that and go and create. So let's say also that I have insert new symbol, something like this. So I'm going to create a simple flower or something like that. Okay, and I'm going to keep it as a shape so I don't have to convert it a few times. I'm going to insert a keyframe, and I come here and I can do insert, just do the shape tween, and let's see if we can apply some kind of change. Maybe I'm going to just do this one and just rotate or something like that. All right. Not the best animation ever, but still I have something. So I'm going to file and save as, save as, and I'm going to do simple animation for week 4. All right. And I save it here. All right. So on the main timeline, I can select, create whatever I want. It is important that I have in my library prepared my animation as animated graphic symbols. So when you double click, you'll have your animation. Right? Now the activity said next thing you have to do is to make file new and make a new animation. Also, they said that you should try to have your animation frames per second either 15 or 30. So let's say if I do 30, and then the next thing, while I'm still in my new window, if I go under library, click here, I can get to the library of my other file. And all what I care is now drag it and put it here. Then I'm going to go back to my new file, and you will see it's here, it's rotate. So the next thing I want to say and I want to double check is the width and height. So I check here, and the width and height is 348 by 83, and the activity said to add a 10, so this should be 358 and 93. I know I will forget, but let me try to 358. So I come here, 358, and then my height should be 93. All right, and then I'm gonna just put this symbol somewhere here, and check if that works fine. And I'm gonna do save, and I'm gonna do simple square week 4. And if I export, I want to double check if there is some kind of... Now, the other thing is we have to be sure that the length of how long my animation is. It's 25 frames, and because it's a graphic symbol, so it doesn't have independent timeline like a movie clip symbol, we have to extend the timeline to the length of timeline of a graphic symbol. So insert frame, just a frame. Don't do the keyframe, just a frame. All right, save it, export it. There's my first shockwave file. All right, then I can go into make file new if I want. And again, 30 frames per second, 30 or 15. And then back to the library and grab for simple animated for week 4. There is my flower. I drag it, put it on the main timeline. Double click, 20 frames. Extend the main timeline. I'm on the main timeline to the frame 20. Click here. It's 186, so it should be 196. 196. And width and height 183, 193, 193. All right, and then place it. Should be something like this, and then we see it. I'm gonna save this simple flower week 4. All right, 30 frames per second, saved, export, and now I have 2. Now, the activity asks that you will have to have your background as a 1 shockwave file, and then at least 1 shockwave file per main character. You can have it more if your animation was a little bit more complex. If your character is doing something, maybe have a looping action in one part and then do something else. You may be going to have more than 1 shockwave file per character. So again, you can always go check, even if it's on the main timeline, select the frames you need, copy, insert a new symbol, graphic, animate, and so on. If you had the maybe movie clip symbol, all what you have to do is so I have it, this one is a movie clip. Here says graphic. If it says movie clip, just change it to the graphic, and that will do. So now I have 2 shockwave files, and again, you will have probably more. The next thing I'm gonna go is open After Effects, and again, this much is for week 4. I'm gonna just show you a little bit so you will know where you're going with this one, but you don't have to do anything like this and so on. So I open After Effects, File, Import File, or multiple files, that's fine. And I'm looking for my shockwave file, and this would be simple square. Open. And File, and import my simple square. So I'm importing shockwave files, all right? Now, you can simply drag it, let it go on your timeline. If your animation is simple and everything is at the same time, then you can simply drag your, what do I have here, square, and then is this my, which one I imported? Okay, it seems like I imported the same one twice. I'm gonna delete this one. And what is this one? That's a square, and then I guess I didn't import my flower. Flower, okay. There is my flower. So let's say that I have both flower and this one. Okay, so if they're overlapping, you see how they're 20 frames and 25? If your whole animation is at the same time completely in sync, that's fine. However, maybe some of your animation starts later on. Maybe it's simple to change that. You know, you can simply animate that part. So this is my timeline. And if I maybe don't want to see something or want to see something or something like that, I can simply play here and change the length of my animation, and then I can see different parts of it. So this is where you're playing with the time elements, where certain element comes and goes, how long it's going to be. You can double click on it and it will change where it is and so on. But this is also, so if everything is in sync, then they're all overlapping, but you can move them. So this is my timeline. So in this moment I only see this one element and I don't see this one, and so on. So that's how you can make it more complex and line up. But again, if you don't have it, maybe your whole animation is simply overlapping everything. That's fine too, right? You can have both of things. Now, next thing is that you're going to play in the week 5 is the properties of your file. So this is my project file. So right click, composition settings. This is the preset, but if I click, I have all this option. Depending on the activities requirement, you can choose what do you need, right? And notice that they have frame rate 29.97. That's a typical frame rate for television. And if I click OK, now I see everything is much bigger and so on. And you can even place, so you will probably have your Shockwave file background that matches or comes close to this one. You can move and position your elements. You can adjust them. Here you can adjust them in a timeline and so on. And this is your After Effects file that you should save and then move on. So these are just some basics just to see where we are going with all these Shockwave files, and also to show you and so you can see that you can manipulate your elements in the Flash and timeline and select the parts and convert them into graphic symbols and so on, and export more than maybe just one Shockwave file for background and just 3 for the main characters. You can add them more, and then you can organize them, group them here and so on as it comes, as they need and so on.